All right. Are you guys having fun today at Spookala? If you are, let me hear ya! All right. This next guest coming up here, when you think Spookala, when you think horror, I promise you, in your first 100 guesses, you probably would not expect this guy to be at Spookala. This guy transcends horror. He transcends scariness. But I will tell you right now, I do know something he would probably appreciate if you guys would do this with me. This guy likes to party. So if you guys sing with me really quick, a Marty. He likes to party. A Marty. He likes to party. If you guys will sing that real quick, we're going to bring this next guy out. Come on, Marty. He likes to party. A Marty. Bring him out here, Mr. Marty Grabstein, voice of courage, the cowardly dog!
All right, so,
There you go.
how is it going? Is everything all right? The lighting is good? How would my hair look? Because sometimes in the overhead lights, you can see the spaces between the follicles. So I was wondering that after all, I'm gonna, you have time, right? After all, I'm waxing metaphysical. By the way, just before you go any further, I want to address the elephant in the room. So anybody who might have known what my voice usually sounds like, I am recovering from a stroke that I had 8 months ago. Some of you might know that. So it's thankfully only affected my speech center. Everything else working every part of me is working still good. Anybody might be wondering.
So your MMA career still is on track. Mixed martial arts, you ready to go? You still do that?
You know, I want to have a discussion with you after but the comedy. Your comedy, it's a little bit like the old Las Vegas, Jewish, the Jews with the Las Vegas. I'm a Jew, so I'm also addressing the elephant in the room, me being a Jew. So I'm just wanting to mention that. So Jews seem to understand the comedy, had a lot with the growth of comedy, but some of the worst comedians I've ever seen in my life are Jews as well. I just wanted you to know that.
I'm going to let you roll with that one. I'm not even touching that.
Exactly. How you doing over there, right? Everybody okay? The Marty party thing didn't go that well. I realize that. But we're trying. You're a wonderful guy.
It's part of the fun. Hey, but no, here's the thing, though. He brought this up earlier, which is a really big deal. This is the post-stroke world tour, international tour, intergalactic tour. This is a big deal, okay? A voice actor to have a stroke that could affect you in this way, he could have said, I'm just going to stay at my house and I'm just going to let this get me down.
And to be depressed.
But he's here at a convention for you guys. This is a big freaking deal. So let's give him a big round of applause right now, just for that.
By the way, there was Jerry Lewis that did that bit. Come on. All right. Anyway, enough talking. I'm rolling around ready to answer questions, whatever they might be.
So I've got a few questions I'm going to do for this panel.
This panel already.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I didn't let you know it was a full workout panel, So we do have an open mic. We're going to have some opportunities in the panel for you guys to come up and answer some questions, but I've got some things for he and I to talk about first, and then we'll kind of go from there and see where it goes from there. So, Marty, you have been acting for quite a long time, 5 decades. what is the biggest difference from when you started to right now in the acting world? What's some of you like look at first and you're like, man, this is way different now than when I first started?
Well, actually the big difference right now, because actors notoriously, I never became a big movie star, right? But it's still possible. It's still possible. I'm only gonna be 70 in November, so, but basically it's always, the acting business will always something like, you have to, number one, find a thing to do to actually act in front of people. So you have to audition, and in New York especially, you have to audition sometimes to something that is not going to pay you any money at all, just to act. And that was very hard to do. So when I got things, and down the line, I definitely did get some stuff, and I did a bunch of things on natural television and actor, character work and various shows and independent films, and certainly Courage was a big, thing. But what I find now an amazing part of this world is that now you can find your own project to do. You find it, and it's not necessarily so expensive. Sometimes it is, but most of the time, you put a few grand together, get some friends to call in favors. You put together a short film, enter it into film festivals, see people watching your work, and you doing your work, you're acting. That's a big difference. You can create so much of the technology that's allowed for that to happen. Right.
All right, so you said you've had a long career so far. When you first got the word of Courage the Cowardly Dog, was there any part of you that was like, hey, this is probably going to be the thing that people are going to know me by the most? Out of anything that I ever do in acting, they're going to know me most by being the voice of Courage the Cowardly Dog. Was there any thought like that?
All right, so I answer you in two parts. Number one, immediately it entered my mind, because that was the biggest thing that I had ever done in my life until that point. So right away, I was going to say, this is going to be a big deal. It's going to be on television. It's going to be not just a one shot. It's going to be, seasons. I didn't know it was going to be 4 seasons, renewed 3 times in a row. So 102 cartoons, and I definitely didn't know. So I was very excited about that. But what I never thought that I would be talking to you people at the convention, that a promoter flew me out, paid for my hotel, gave me per diem to appear at his convention. I didn't have any idea that it would have that far-reaching an effect, that people could come to see me, and spending their hard-earned money. It's a crazy thing, and it makes me, I never forget, and I never take that for granted, but totally right behind the money, because I'm putting a kid through college with the money people are giving me in this convention, right? So besides that, so much just right behind it. It's so warm, it makes me feel to see your face, and happy to see me, to connect with me, to talk with me. And so it's really, I'm blessed, totally blessed.
So when you first started doing Courage, I saw some other videos where they said, hey, there's other people, and really sure we haven't found the right voice. Marty, we know that you're a voice actor. Let's you give it a try. At what point was that synergy between you and the showrunner like, yes, this is the guy that is going to bring our character to life. Marty is our guy. What was it like getting that synergy with the showrunner to let you know you are going to be Courage the Cowardly Dog? How'd that make you feel?
I'm going to answer it as if I totally understand the question. But
sounds good.
Hopefully, I'm going to come close to answering it. If not, whatever I answer, it might be interesting anyway.
And you know what? That's all that matters anyways.
That's all that matters anyway. All the things I do for love. I had to do it once in a while. You have to.
That's right.
Keep them warm,
Yeah.
Anyway, so the way I got the show, I might segue into that. A friend of mine called me up. I hadn't actually spoken to her in almost 5 years. So I get a call out of the blue from Marisa, and she says to me, Marty, I see you still acting. Yes, I am. I didn't know, but I saw a review of your comedy show. I had a partner. We did sketch comedy in the city, New York, going around the clubs and the theaters and doing a sketch kind of, we wrote, right? So I saw that you're acting, and I have something to ask you. I'm working with this guy, John Dilworth. He created a new show, Courage the Cowardly Dog, and he's been listening to voice actor for the lead character for the last 3 or 4 months. Over 300 actors, he heard their voices and couldn't arrive at an answer, right? So I'm getting annoyed. She said, I'm getting annoyed. So maybe I reach out to some of my friends and maybe have better luck. So I went in, a couple of really rich things happened as a result of that. Number one, the fact that when you act, I was doing this comedy, right? Sketch comedy. I wasn't getting paid to do it. And as a matter of fact, my partner and I invested thousands of dollars over the 8 years we were working together to get things done. But I was always acting, always doing something. So somehow the energy of me being there, translated to that call, created that phone call, that this friend of mine that changed the trajectory of my life and continued into my old age, my salad days, my halcyon days. Not actually halcyon back then. But so that's one lesson I learned. The other lesson is I realized most actors, when you enter into an audition, you're in a state of, I need something you got. Can you give me the job? I want to impress you so you can give me the job. Actors never think, smart actors think that you walk in and you're going to give them something they need. You give them something because they're not doing you a favor. They need it. So somehow, but actors' insecurity is a big deal. So usually we go on having to hide my insecurity, pretend that I had a nice bravado about me, and making believe that I was confident. Inside I was shivering, right? Kind of like Courage. courage, actually. He's sure was on the outside. But anyway, in this case, I had an epiphany. This guy has been listening to voice actors for 3 full months for the main character. He's got to be desperate to find somebody that he's happy about. He doesn't want to go through this day after day after day. So somehow I walked in like, I'm going to help you out, man. I'm going to relieve your pain and give you what I have to give. And I did. And within a couple of minutes, he was laughing for the audition. Right away, he was laughing. All of that was happening. And then at a certain point, he said, I think you're great. Could you do it higher pitch? Could you do it up here? So he liked everything I was doing. He only wanted it to be higher. He said, we got it. As far as I'm concerned, courage is yours. I just got to talk to Cartoon Network and get it approved. So that answers you. I didn't answer the question the long way around.
Hey, it was my fault for the question being so dang long, but you said, listen, I'm going to edit that thing down and I'm going to give you the best answer, and you did exactly that.
Did I edit it down? You're sleeping already. All right.
No, you edited down my question. All right, so when you got the part, did you ever expect that the role was going to be so much and stuff like that over the dialogue? Did they let you know there was going to be more sound effects, especially early on, than there was actually going to be words?
I did not know that. As to that issue, that's a kind of a thing, because the first season, most of you know, because you're here for this panel. The first season, he talked a lot, actually. I mean, it wasn't a chatty dog, but he said, I think iconic things and funny things. But in between, mostly all of that, and all of that. See, I had to fill it in. You gotta keep them warm, right?
Yeah, you know what? That's the theme of this panel. Let's keep it going.
Keep it going. So anyway, so I didn't have any idea that somehow they decided, because I saw focus groups, and focus groups so enjoying the laughter, the screaming, and all of the sound effects I was making. So they enjoyed it so much, they weren't laughing as much for me saying, I'll save you, Muriel. So they didn't care about I'll save you, Muriel. So that's cut to the chase. I think with ill-advised thing to do, but it actually challenged my actor. I had to take the same thing that I was able to say words sometime and translate it into sounds, into vocal histrionics, so to speak, So it actually challenged, and it also challenged my ego as well, so.
All right, so good stuff. So hey, we have this mic up in the front. We know there are people out here, especially I know you right there, that's got the Courage of Cowardly Dog shirt in your lap. Look at that. I know there's some of you out there that have got some questions for Marty. So why don't you come up to the mic, and we're gonna open up the floor so you guys can ask some questions. All right. How you doing, man? What's your name?
Zanaki.
Zanaki?
Yes.
All right, Zanaki, what's your question for Mr. Marty Grabstein?
Yes. What was the scariest episode of Courage the Cowardly Dog for you? I know that show had some scary episodes.
Well, I know a lot of people say King Ramses' Curse. I know that is a really scary one, but for me it was Freaky Fred, because of the repulsion of his kind of perversity in a way was so uncomfortable that I think it made me chilled to the bone, especially one moment. Did anybody remember that one moment you see on the shelf, and it's sharpened or whatever it is, there's a jar with something fuzzy inside of it, and the camera comes close and the music swells. It looks like some kind of creature, but you don't know what it is, and they don't even address it. Was messed up.
Thank you.
All right, that's a great question. All right, coming up here next. You can bend the mic down so you can talk into it. And then come up real close. What's your name?
Peyton,
Peyton? What's your question?
what made you want to act?
What made me want to act? That's a great question. So, I mean, really, it was something. It is really something. You get the sense from somebody. The two elements that did it. Number one, I was 4 years old, and I loved the Wizard of Oz and the Wizard of Oz soundtrack album. So I remember I loved listening to albums and I loved listening to that stuff. So I remember memorizing almost the entire album and somehow wanting to perform it for my mother and father and uncles and aunts and cousins. I enjoyed that. Maybe I was looking for love, in all the wrong places, maybe. But whatever it was, that was pretty good, by the way, right? Anyway, so that number one, and then it actually became that I discovered, because the desire to do that doesn't mean you're good. It just means you want to express yourself. And I totally embrace that for anybody to act, even if you're not good. You don't have to be good to do it, actually. But I was good, so I discovered I was good. So now, coupled with the strong desire to be in front of people and express myself like that, and the ease with which I am in front of a lot of people. Totally at home like this, I had to act, and I continue to have to do it, even sacrificing maybe the possibility of more lucrative profession that I could have entered. But the money's coming in now, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for that. God bless.
All right, thank you so much, Peyton. All right.
I love that answer.
That's a great one. All right, how you doing? What's your name?
Hey, I'm Samantha. I know a lot of people have different feelings on their different types of roles they do. I was just wondering, what was your favorite part about being Courage?
Probably two things. Number one is that I love the fact that I grasp his, dramatic elements that the message that was being sent, I grasped it. That's a hard word, grasp. I'm still working on my speech therapy. Grasped it anyway. So the fact that this dog is so terrified, blood-curdling scream, which I love expressing, but somehow the fact that he, at the 11th hour, rises up, faces his fear that he had anyway, and fights off the evil monster. That was a really favorite thing. And number one have nothing to do with that. The fact that I got to go into that booth and say something was not ever alive, ever, and breathe life into the two-dimensional creature. So both of those.
All right, thank you.
My pleasure.
All right, next up.
Hello, my name's Michelle. I wanted to say that I'm a really big fan. I've been watching Courage the Cowardly Dog since I was a kid, and it's kind of been a very important staple of my childhood, so I wanted to say thank
that was a statement, right?
That was a statement.
That was a statement, so you still have one question.
You still
Okay, but I actually have two questions. So if
Do
not,
it.
Okay.
If this first question is really good, we're going to give you a
Yeah.
bonus question.
Okay, so my first question is that a lot of people say that art should disturb the comforted or the comfortable, but also comfort the disturbed. I wanted to ask what episodes comforted you the most and disturbed you the most.
All right, so I already said Freaky Fred definitely disturbed me the most. Also, the demon in the mattress when Riri becomes possessed with his hair going crazy. And the one that comforted me the most was the Hunchback of Nowhere, where he's, meeting up with this deformed creature. I love the Hunchback of Notre Dame, but the book, I love that book. So the fact that he was a friend that became buddies, it really touched me a lot, so much. And I'm very interested in the next question.
Boom, next question. You've got the bonus question.
Thank you so much. A lot of us were introduced into horror because of Courage the Cowardly Dog. There were so many themes of horror and very disturbing, like images and media, but that was able to be introduced via the children's perspective and eyes. I wanted to ask for your kids or for your future grandkids as well, like when you introduce your work for Courage the Cowardly Dog, what will be like the one episode that you would show them?
I would show them.
Yeah.
If you had to show them, one episode to be like, this is the seminal episode to introduce them to the series.
Because, there could be some that could scar them for life, because I know some of them did for me.
All right, so that's a great question. I am, by the way, just to take a step back for the moment, I am a huge fan of horror myself. I actually am a bit of an expert, kind of an armchair expert in the literary elements of horror, and also watching the history of horror in film and television and all that stuff. So I love the fact that horror plays with boundaries and, introduces young kids, and it depends, we could go on and on, but it depends on the kind of horror. The purely gruesome Art the Clown sort of stuff, which, by the way, I happen to love, but I would not want my kids to watch Terrifier, right? Because it's so gory and ridiculous, over the top, almost to be disrespected as an art form, but not. He just goes short of being disrespected. Somehow Damien Leone create a wonderful thing there. I don't know how we did it, but for me, I do feel that, horror being introduced to kids is a good thing. Stephen King said horror is a dress rehearsal for death. Essentially knowing all of us understand that death will come. It's just beyond our reach. Some of us are afraid of it as kids, afraid of dying, right? So the idea that you could experience out some of your purging some of those fears and naturally enter into your mind. I do believe horror always serves that purpose of preparing young kids, because you would always turn the television on, put the book down, go get some popcorn, whatever it is. So I totally, getting back to the actual episode, so I was thinking we're getting some feedback a little bit, thank you. So I would probably have to begrudgingly agree. King Ramses' curse probably is the one that I would have to show to the kids because it really is scary and somehow retains the courage, humor, stupid dog, and all of that stuff, and Muriel and the character, still humorous, but scary enough. It gives the most blend to all of those elements that make courage such a wonderful thing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was actually like the top scariest one for me as well. So thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Next up, come on up. What's your name? What's your question?
My name is Alex. Marty, good to see you.
You too, Alex.
So my question for you, do you have a favorite horror genre? Since you talked about it so much, are you so passionate about the horror genre? Do you have like a favorite Halloween show or movie?
It's funny. I mean, it's hard for me. There's so many different ones. Stephen King is my mentor in the horror world, and somehow if I have to say, probably The Exorcist is right up there, and Rosemary's Baby as well. So this gripping, slow descent into the psychological horror. But I know Exorcist is more, some graphic stuff, the pea soup, and some freaky thing going on with the crucifix, and we won't talk about that. But generally speaking, I'm more of a fan of more the psychological horror. That's why I think The Birds, Alfred Hitchcock, The Birds, Psycho, even Vertigo has a subtle horror aspect to it. But I love sitting down and watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre, man. That's one of the great B horror films ever done, So hopefully I answered that.
Thank you so much.
My
All right,
pleasure.
thank you so much. Look at this. The one who I called out.
She came finally.
She did. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
What's your name?
Hi.
Ashley.
Ashley, what's your question?
So I actually felt called out to come up here, so I've been trying to think of a question this whole time. Are there any other shows that you wish you could have been a part of with your voice acting?
Yeah, all of them. Any with the big show, probably Family Guy would like to have been a part of that. What the other one, the set them following thing? What?
American Dad.
American Dad. Thank you. That's the one. So I would like to have done that. The Simpsons, all of those kind of heady, more actory kind of. I wish I would have done those. And I'm going to answer one more question that you didn't ask. So if I can cross over courage with any character that I can think of that I would like to see, I was gonna say number one, Bugs Bunny, because I'm a huge Bugs Bunny fan, but actually the best crossover, I think, an historical old-time character with courage, a new character, it's Huckleberry Hound. Did anybody know Huckleberry Hounds? So how could courage and Huckleberry Hound is, oh my darling, It's so mellow, almost going to sleep in mid-language. So those together would be a funny thing to see.
Thank you.
Thank you for allowing us to call you out in a positive way. All right, next up, how you doing? What's your name? What's your question?
I'm Michael, and it's just so awesome to meet you. Like, literally everyone in my family, adored your show, except for, my mom. She thought it was horrific and, a nightmare. We get pissed when we have it on TV. But, man, we love
How does
that
she
show.
feel now?
She probably feels about the same, to be honest. but yeah,
gotta
she's
have
gotta
a
be,
discussion.
it's like, we're Italian, so, like, we understand each other.
All right.
Yeah, my biggest question of all, I've been wondering for so many years now, what was Eustace's problem, man? What was his fucking problem?
So, I asked you, I'm going to answer your question with another question. So, what was his problem? How would we learn to appreciate love with not hate in the world, right? It's an existential question, right? Somehow the idea, the yin yang of evil and good. If everybody was just good, I think it would be a boring place. We'd be done in about a year. I'm done with this world. The fact that the dark and the light makes life worth living. So Eustace serves that purpose of creating Muriel's relationship with courage. And by the way, he does provide courage with a roof over his head. He does has a nice house, and not a fancy, but it's a farmer. He works. He doing his work. He's just a cranky, somewhat sadistic, mischievous old man. But actually, I believe he actually does love courage. That's what my uptake in it was.
I mean, I remember a couple scenes where he showed his level of, it's like deep, very deep down.
Right.
Yeah.
But I hope that maybe have, softened your uptake in
Really
Eustace.
changed my perspective, and I just have like one more thing I'd like to add.
All right. What am I, a trained seal? All of a sudden, they keep me in line. I have to give the other to respond to it. It's pathetic.
Thanks a
Thank you,
lot.
sir.
All right, so you can bend this mic up just a little bit. We bent it down first, so you can go up a little bit. All right, we're going to have to go a little bit of lightning round here. So what's your name? What's your question?
Hey Marty, this is Michael.
Hi, Michael.
Firstly, wanted to just be your daily reminder that we all love you. So thank you for everything you've done.
Bless you.
And
The applauses have been made. The applauses have been made. I know that. I feel secure you people.
thank you. And my quick question is, do you have a favorite voice actor and somebody you appreciate their work? Maybe it was Eustace, whoever it could be.
My favorite was Mal Blanc. Come on. Mal Blanc, he did all the voices, right? He did all of those voices, all of the Looney Tunes characters, all of the Porky Pig and Wafat, the Bugs and Daffy and Sylvester and Tweety Bird. Crazy. He was a genius,
Absolute legend. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot. All right, next.
Next.
What's your name? What's your question?
My name is Giovanni. I'm sorry. My name is Giovanni, and my question is, what inspiration, or rather, what did you get for inspiration to portray courage, like his whole mannerism?
It just jumped in because I knew he was nervous and anxiety-ridden. I didn't have much time to prepare it. I told you earlier, so that just walked in, not even understanding completely. So I went with my natural way of talking, who was Jewish, New York, neurotic guy, right? So somehow that is what informs courage, actually. It's so only high pitch. You hear my voice is low pitch, kind of raspy, and so it's that's what I just joined in, jumped in, and it worked out. Sometimes it happens.
So basically, you with just a high-pitched voice.
Me with a high pitch. Actually, I've discovered it. I thought it was only me, but actually, it kind of hybrid between me and Edna Grabstein, my mother, who is a Jewish mother. So, was a Jewish mother. Sorry, Mom, I'm talking about you.
Good way to honor her.
All right, thanks a lot. All right, we got two more questions. All right, here. What's your name?
Brian.
the quick
The question was, did you have to deal with anxiety growing? Did you have
Did I have anxiety growing up? Oh, yeah. My mother would, Mom, I'm throwing you under the bus for the sake of entertainment. My mother was a loving woman, but prone to emotional outbursts, and it was screaming. My whole household was filled with screaming, So I had anxiety because of that, but I actually also was able to latch onto the love I was being showered on me. At the same time, something in me made me understand that actually I'm okay. Somehow, with any of you who might have anxiety, somehow the way you rather than just think of a pill you can take and something, or just the therapy, something, all of those sometimes work. The main thing is understanding somehow I'm okay, actually. A quiet voice in your head that's between you and you that said, I'm okay, I'm not bad, I'm okay. That's what I did.
Thank you, God bless you.
My pleasure. God bless you too.
All right, last question from the audience. What's your name? What is your question?
My name's Nicole.
Step up a little bit for us.
My name's Nicole, and my question is, what episode of Courage did you have the most fun with?
The most fun doing?
Yes.
I loved, it's not, the one with the opera singing, the Valkyries, the Flight of the Valkyries.
I remember the one, yes.
They were, all of the singing and, it was so pathetically ridiculous. I would remember laughing because I happened to be there when that recording happened, when those people would be recording it, and I was laughing in the recording studio watching it be done. So
Thank you.
All right, good stuff. All right, so we have one piece of housekeeping, and then I've got one last question for you. So you guys know what that housekeeping is. At the end of every panel, we have the show photographer come up here and take a picture of the guest and I with all the attendees in. But we first, in horror convention style, have to summon the photographer. His name is Corey. So on the count of 3, you guys have to help me summon Corey. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Corey. Oh, look at this over here. We got him. All right, so hey, I've got one more question for you. So real quick, one more question for you. So there are a couple of team-ups that Courage has done. You met Scooby-Doo. So you met Scooby-Doo, but then also there was a chance encounter at a convention one time where Courage met the voice of Barney. Why don't you talk about these meetups and then end it with, if you could do a crossover with one more future, who would it be?
Meaning another video with somebody?
Yeah.
Just not a project, but...
Yeah, just a video. Just I'd like to go meet that guy and go do a one-off thing.
I did one with Tara Strong this week, and my buddy Tara Strong. I love that. I like that. I did one with Blake Roman recently from Has Been Hotel.
Oh, wow. That's great.
So that was great. I didn't, but who would I? Oh man, that's hard because I'm not on the pulse of the cartoon world as much today. So I can. I know Richard Dreyfuss. He's not doing. I did do a video with Richard Dreyfuss, but I would like to perform something with Richard Dreyfuss on video. We're both performing something together. That's pretty good.
That sounds pretty awesome. Richard
Dreyfuss.
All right, so right now, hold your applause. We're going to get this picture with Corey, and then once Once we're done with that, then you guys are going to go absolutely nuts for Marty Grabstein. Does that sound good? No. They're going to go nuts. I can already tell they're ready to go crazy. I'm just letting you know it's okay to do it. All right, so everybody kind of come up here in the middle, squeeze together.
Stay there.